That's quite interesting over there. Well, let's start talking rather. I think we'll have to start talking and do with the Rainbow Nation Challenge, quite interesting, which will take place in Accra next week. Two gentlemen have joined already me over here in the studio to talk about it. Quickly have to introduce them. I think it's better they introduce themselves. Gentlemen, you're welcome to the studio, by the way.
Thank you, Johnny. Thanks for having
us.
Is
it Mr. Weber that I know?
Yes, Grant Weber, and I was here 2 years ago when we kicked off.
Yeah. But he changed with the beard there.
Yeah, incognito.
Okay. How's life over there with the business chamber?
Business chamber's doing good work. Tough economic conditions now, so we are trying our best to work with our members to keep everyone as happy and as buoyant as we can.
Okay. Well, my name's Father John. How are you, by the way?
Very well, thank you, Johnny, and thank you very much for having us.
Okay, quickly. I think I'll start with you. The Rainbow Challenge, or the Rainbow Nation Challenge. Tell me a little bit about the concept.
Well, we're very lucky. In fact, it was John who suggested that we take the Rainbow Nations Challenge, which just started as a tennis tournament, and build it into a brand, which encompasses other sports events and programs, but focuses on health and wellness in general, and looks at promoting networking within the international business and diplomatic corps. So I think we went from a program to a brand, which has now got a monthly running club at the Legon campus, which is fantastic, and very soon we'll be kicking off with our paddle tennis tournament, which is a hybrid of squash and tennis.
Okay. Tell me, over the years, what has this very tournament achieved? I know most of the proceeds are used for certain projects, but what have you achieved with this very project? I'm referring to the Rainbow Nation Challenge Tennis. What have you achieved with the project?
Well, that first year when I stood here on the eve of our first tournament, we were just hoping that we could attract enough players for it to be successful. Okay. We had a full field of 56 players, representing 21 countries.
Okay.
And then the next year, the same field, 56, but 22 countries. This year it's a similar, I think 18 or 19 nationalities, a mixed field of women and men, which I think is important, and a mixed ability as well. Don't forget the tennis is not most important. It's the networking and raising some money for our endowment, which we want to assist girls that are good in a sports code, but to focus on assisting them with their education. So I think we've achieved something quite positive in the first 2 years.
I like the wine session during the tennis stuff. I like the wine session. A lot of good South African wine. John, let's talk about this year's very competition. Tell us about preparation so far. How is it going to go? Is it the same formula? What's going to
Johnny,
change?
it's funny that you say. I mean, I'll take us back again to 2 years ago when we started, and how much effort we had to put into the event to get enough players, and we were a bit worried there for a moment, and eventually we got the numbers, and surprisingly last year, because of the first year success, we didn't have a hard time actually getting participation. I mean, within a week or so or two, we had a full participation required for last year, and we saw the similar trend this year, and people are really looking forward to this annual event of ours. So we're very pleased that it has gained so much popularity. And besides that, obviously, there's a lot of pre-work that has to be done from the chamber and also some of our committee members, and also our administration team that puts everything together have to work hard to get all the sponsorship in place. And without support for events like this, it's not possible. So, it is important that we recognize those that supported this event. I mean, there's in the hospitality space, we had KFC, Casa Preco, Tail Beer, and then on the financial side, we had a couple of important...
You know what I feel like? I feel like giving you a commercial shield to film. Well, pretty soon we're going to see the video, the excerpts of our previous tournament stage over there whilst we are talking. It will be on your screen. You see, just go ahead, John, go ahead.
Yeah, so so it is important that we have that kind of support. Otherwise, events like this won't be possible. And like Grant also mentioned, it is the health, the participation, the friendship, the new relationships, camaraderie. Yeah. good health and healthy minds, and creating eventually healthy business relationships. And tough economic times like now, I think camaraderie, collaboration is important, and relationships is going to carry you through times like this. So I think it's important that we reflect on that. But like you mentioned earlier, the hospitality aspect obviously is something always to look forward to. So the last evening is always a popular event, and all the festivities after, a good tournament. So.
Okay, let me find out, how has the South African and the Ghanaian community, vis-a-vis the firms, have they welcomed this very tournament or this very project? How have they welcomed it?
Well, Johnny, I'm actually very happy to announce that our strongest team and our biggest team represented this year is actually the home team, the Ghanaian team. Yeah. So we're very happy about that. Despite having a number of countries, whatever, we have to give respect to the country hosting the event, and we are all visitors here. And it's always encouraging to see that there's so much enthusiasm from the local community as well as Ghana to participate in this particular event.
Okay. You told me about preparation for this year's. How's it looking like? It's starting next week. What are you guys expecting? What is the preparation before expectation?
Well, because our members, our corporate members, have been so generous with sponsorship, really in terms of providing our spectators and VIP guests and players with good quality food and drink throughout the tournament, we're able to do it. Our corporates, if I may mention one or two names, Anglo Gold Ashanti, Avis Fleet, just to name a couple. Japan Motors are well known. Okay. Even in difficult times, have been very generous in terms of covering costs. Okay. Inflation has really doubled the running costs of the tournament, which is quite staggering now. And we're very lucky at the Accra Lawn Tennis Club that the facility is good. Yeah. The management team are excellent, and we work well with them. So preparations, now that this is our third edition, it's a bit easier. Whilst we don't take anything for granted, I think a combination of a good organizing team, our corporate sponsors being there, the international community players. Sorry to cut you, but those are concepts or previous tournament stage. They should be, I think, the 2022 edition, which was staged, the same competition. I've seen the videos over there. Continue, Grant, continue. Yeah, and I think with the energy from the international community, the players and the spectators, it creates a nice atmosphere around the event. It is social, but on court, the players take it very seriously. Yeah. And the clip we saw there was of the Italians, who were the eventual winners last year, who beat the Americans. The Americans won it the first year, if you remember. Yeah. My money this year, if I had to make a prediction, would be on the Indians. I think there are a couple of very strong Indian teams. The guys from Bombay or New Delhi? Yeah, the New Delhi guys are there. And there's one of the French teams that looks quite good. So I think the Americans and Italians have got their work cut out for them this year. Okay, okay, quickly. How many teams are participating? Categorize them in the male and the female, quickly. The females, there are 8 teams. Okay. And the men make up the bulk of it. But it's double the amount of women this year, which we're delighted with. We have 56 players, so that doubles. 28 teams participating, 20 countries. So a nice spread of the international community. How many days are we looking at the competition? When is it starting? When is it supposed to end? The pools run on next Tuesday and Wednesday, the 12th and the 13th. Yeah. And then the qualifiers for the quarters, semis, and finals play on the grand finale evening on Thursday. Well, that's quite interesting. We are discussing the Rainbow Nation Challenge Tennis Championship that will start on Tuesday in the nation's capital. I have here 2 gentlemen who are playing key role in the organization. I'm talking about Mr. Webb and that of John Madison here in the studio. John, I'll get back to you quickly. This time, earlier you were mentioning some corporate entities that are supporting. Are you getting the same this time around? What has been the approach towards this very project?
Johnny, actually, to be honest with you, we've had, the first year we had to really motivate to get some sponsors and people on board to make it happen. Last year was a bit easier, and I think this third year, I think we've been really blessed, especially in these tough times, that people are still willing to support an event like this and support business as a whole. So I think, because it encourages business relationships and so forth, and, potentially improving the current business conditions within the environment, people are still willing to spend money in the right places.
Okay.
I mean, it's just not about tennis. So tennis is just a vehicle here. But, although we all enjoy playing tennis, and, some people are very competitive, some not, some take it less seriously. It's a bit more from a social point of view, but at the end of the day, it's all for the right reasons.
Let me get back to you, Grant. This year, what's the target like? What do you want to use the proceeds for? Is it for a particular reason, or maybe it should be under the sleeves?
Yes, no, I think we've been very lucky to come across a group of girls that run from up north. Various of the runs that happen in Accra through the year. And the same group travel down with their coach to every event. And they mostly come from very modest backgrounds. So we're going to focus on this group of girls that run. They're of the best distance runners in Ghana. And we won't be sponsoring their athletics per se. We will be looking at helping them further their education.
Okay.
They can run fast,
okay,
but their real passport to freedom is their education.
Okay.
We want to invest in that.
Okay. Well, we are wrapping up the discussion on the Rainbow Nation Tennis Challenge, which starts next week Tuesday here in Accra. Your final word before we leave the studio. Hugh get his own. Your final word.
Johnny, I just want to say thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to present the Rainbow Nations. And we believe it will grow from strength to strength as years go along.
I will be there. Why must people troop to the venue to watch these games? Aside sports, why must they be there?
Finals night especially, but the tournament at large. There's some wonderful tennis. There's some real good competition. And at the end of the day, the money goes to a good cause.
Well, this is Sports Direct. My name is Phil John. Gentlemen, thank you very much for passing through. Hope that this very project will yield for fruit that everybody's talking. I'm sure the South African ambassador will be there as usual.
She won't, actually. She will be down with His Excellency, the Ghanaian president, with the business delegation in South Africa.
Okay.
But her deputy, Tando Delambo, will be standing in for her.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for passing through. This is Sports Direct. My name is Phil John Quartey.